Hey, this is Anthony with RevZilla. Watch, decide, and ride. Welcome to our detailed breakdown of the new LS2 Valiant modular helmet available at RevZilla.com. New for the spring of 18. We've seen this configuration before. I was going to call a spade LS2. You owe $16 to potentially Shark for this guy. We saw Shark develop a very similar helmet called the Eveline many moons ago. This is LS2's take on it. Now, I do like some of the changes that LS2 has made. It's a little bit more angular. Ultimately, it has a different fit scheme, which I'm going to talk about. And the big one for me is, if you want to work within this realm of a modular helmet that ultimately allows you to ride with the chin bar up and back or the chin bar down, you can now do it for around the $300 mark. LS2 has done a good job at developing a polycarb full-feature helmet that vents well, that's going to cover a better fit scheme than we've seen from this style of helmet, and they're doing it for around the $300 mark. Now, I will call out my gripes on this helmet. Big one is, whenever you get into this territory, you're looking at a 4+ pound helmet, which is going to be heavy. Great for a 50-mile day, great for a 100-mile day. If you want to go out and ride 250, 300, 400 miles in a day, this helmet's going to start to feel very heavy. I've done it before. But the thing I love about it is the fact that it's an intermediate oval head shape now. Previous iterations from other manufacturers that had this setup were extremely neutral to round, and they did that to accommodate the chin bar. What LS2 has done is it's taken this concept and it's now matched the fit scheme for the American market. Intermediate oval in its head shape, not overly broad, not overly narrow, but ultimately closer to my head shape, closer to maybe more of that intermediate, slightly longer oval, which ultimately should fit more riders. Again, if you're my head shape and you wear a round helmet, you just get a pressure point in the front and the back, and it wobbles on you. This helmet won't do that, which is a nice touch. Other than that, that's the big standout. It's kind of the cost factor and the fit factor. Remember, we're going to ship free over 39 bucks. I'd love it if you click our logo, subscribe to RevZilla on our YouTube channel. Leave me your comments, your questions, your feedback here on the LS2 Valiant. Now, diving into some of the nuance of the helmet. One of the interesting things, it's an interesting choice on this helmet, is there is a lot of chrome. It's chrome accents on this helmet. So you have chrome at the back, you have reflective chrome on the sides. You just kind of went for it. I haven't seen that in a while. Ultimately, that's going to be a subjective style choice that you're going to have to make. We look at some of the other exterior features. Notice, open and closable chin vent. Our shield change mechanism, our shield mechanism, which has to be up and cracked for the chin bar mechanism to work, ultimately has a center actuation on the top, which is something to potentially get used to, but it doesn't really bug me. What you also notice is along the side here, you're going to have your drop-down sun visor. It's not a cable actuation, it's a geared actuation, but you do have full coverage. So this saves you having to change this and having to carry a potential dark smoke shield. It adds weight to the helmet, but ultimately on the fly while you're riding, you can go full Airwolf mode, drop it down, and you're good to go. Moving into the top, open and close, direct vent chimney on the top, and you get into our rear, which has a few passive vents here. Ultimately, working their way below this spoiler, that little lip's going to keep them a little drier if you get caught in a cloudburst. And ultimately what happens is you have that area of low pressure behind the helmet fully extracting warm, moist air out of the lid itself. And again, they added some angles to this helmet to try to close it off and ultimately really set it apart from some of the rounder versions of this convertible style helmet we've seen in the past. The other thing to note here too, when you think about the fit scheme, notice how smoothly that went back and it sits in place. It doesn't lock down, but gravity keeps it in its spot. If we open it or we look, they're going to be metallic clasps. It's not plastic on the sides, which I really like. So it's a more positive locking mechanism. And I will tell you that if you're the type of rider that gets a little bit more claustrophobic about the chin bar on a full face, this has a lot of room through the cheek pads. It even has cutaways. Here, I'm going to use my finger here to open this up. I'm going to pull this drop-down sun visor back. You can see even the cutaways around the temples are geared so you can add sunglasses or you can add reading glasses under your helmet if you wear glasses. Again, it's a very glasses-friendly helmet. Now, if I take my Valiant and I move it back here, you're going to see what they've done on the bottom. 2 reflective pops. It's an integrated cheek pad plus neck roll system, which we're going to see how easily this comes off here. And ultimately, you unpop the wire down here on both sides. This, in my estimation, is one of my least favorite configurations for chin bar, or actually for neck roll mechanisms. What you're going to see as this comes out, the first person I saw do this was Schubert years ago, and they ditched it because it's really hard. If you're the type of rider that sweats a ton, that's constantly removing their cheek pads and swapping them, or your neck roll, ultimately you're going to be annoyed with how much you have to fiddle to get this wire system back in. Notice the 2 pins and the wire that has to go all the way back in. That would probably be one of my bigger annoyances with this helmet. If we look at the inside though, it's a nice material, it's wicking, it's a microfiber, very smooth. against the skin, and they did give you plenty of cutaway if you want to install a third-party Bluetooth unit. Now, as far as the comfort liner itself, it slides out from back to front. It snaps in plastic to plastic in the front, so there's no chance that you're going to get any pressure points. Notice how that worked its way in along the brow. A little bit harder to get in than your 2 snaps, but ultimately I will sacrifice the plastic to plastic reconnection point rather than potentially having pressure points in the front of the helmet, and along the back it's just a slide. The other thing to notice here too is that you do have some ventilated spots in your comfort liner, and I love how they've sonically welded, and you have this 3D form around the crown of your head and the top of your head. But I look at this helmet and I say they could do a much better job at putting big cutaways to flow air and promote airflow from the active vents on top of the helmet, and they did give you big channels. So ultimately you have your big 10mm vent holes coming in from the top, they're exiting out the back. It's going to create a cooling effect within the helmet, but you don't have enough mesh on the comfort liner to fully get the most out of that airflow. Again, is it going to completely limit it? No. But could it have been more of a free-flowing and more efficient system? It absolutely could have been. So to sum up, remember, we like the fact that this helmet is intermediate oval. We also like the fact that this helmet comes in around the 3-pound mark, or the the $300 mark. What we don't like are some of the ventilation features, the neck roll, and ultimately the fact that it is going to be relatively heavy. Now, relatively heavy is relative. Higher end modulars get lighter. More affordable modulars are polycarb, and they come in close to that 4-pound mark. So if you look around the $300 set of modulars, you're going to see a lot of 4-pound helmets. I'm just telling you that if you're going out for a long distance ride in a 4-pound helmet, you will absolutely start to feel that. You're going to feel it on your neck, you're going to feel it on your head, and if you're riding for an extended time with this chin bar back, you're also going to feel that weight behind your head. It is a heavier helmet. Keep it in mind. Know what you're walking into when you invest in something like the LS2 Valiant. Now, the next step in your journey is click the info button, your desktop, your mobile device. Visit the product detail page. Read other rider reviews on the LS2 Valiant. You shouldn't just take my word for it. As always, we'll ship for you for $39. If you want to talk to a gear geek, see us at RevZilla.com or 877-792-9455. Thanks for watching our detailed breakdown. Remember, subscribe to us at RevZilla on our YouTube channel. Stay up to date with our opinion of the latest and greatest in the motor universe. I'm Anthony. We'll see you next time.